Welcome back, Coinology. The story of the 2013 D1 cent coin begins with a fascinating chapter in American numismatic history because every single coin struck at the Denver Mint carries not only a monetary value of 1 cent but also an untold story that collectors, historians, and enthusiasts dive deep into. When we talk about the 2013 D Lincoln penny, we are not just describing a piece of copper-plated zinc metal, but we are uncovering layers of symbolism, artistry, minting technology, and the passion of collectors who assign incredible worth to such a small denomination coin. The face value is only a cent, but when rarity, history, and collector demand converge, this simple coin can be valued at astronomical figures in private markets, auctions, and among elite numismatists. Some even estimate examples of the 2013 D coin in unique conditions to be worth hundreds of millions, with stories circulating of market evaluations pushing its potential value to nearly $485 million in some cases, depending on unique minting errors, pristine condition, and collector frenzy. To understand why this coin attracts such fascination, we have to go back to the long-standing tradition of the Lincoln cent. The Lincoln penny was first introduced in 1909 to honor the centennial birth of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. Over time, it has become the longest-running coin design in American history. The obverse, or front side, of the coin has always featured Lincoln's portrait, originally designed by Victor David Brenner. By 2013, this design had already been in circulation for more than a century, but over the years, modifications were made to adapt the style, update details, and add new reverse designs. The year 2013 was part of the Shield Reverse series, which had been introduced in 2010, replacing the earlier Lincoln Memorial Reverse. This shield design symbolizes unity and the strength of the nation, with the shield reminiscent of the Union that Lincoln fought so hard to preserve during the Civil War. The coin minted in Denver in 2013 carries the D Mint mark just below the date, signifying its origin from the Denver Mint facility. The weight of the coin is precisely 2.5 grams, composed mainly of zinc with a thin copper plating to maintain the traditional appearance of the penny. The diameter measures 19.05 millimeters, with a plain edge. While these specifications may sound simple, they are crucial because variations in weight, composition, or strike can drastically affect the value in collector circles. Imagine a 2013 D penny that accidentally struck off-center, or one that left the mint with a double die obverse. Such unique anomalies instantly capture attention and can command jaw-dropping sums at auction. The coin symbol on the obverse is the iconic portrait of Lincoln, facing right. His profile remains a powerful reminder of leadership and sacrifice. Above his head, the national motto, "In God We Trust," stretches across the top, while to the left the word Liberty stands boldly, and to the right, the year of mintage, 2013, sits alongside the mint mark D. The reverse, with the Union Shield design created by Lyndall Bass and executed by engraver Joseph Mena, features a single horizontal banner across the shield inscribed with 1 cent. Above the shield rests the inscription "United States of America," and the national motto "E Pluribus Unum" arches proudly above. The shield itself contains vertical stripes, representing the states joined together under one government, while the single horizontal bar across the top represents the federal union as a whole. And now, when we talk about why a coin like the 2013 D penny could be assigned a market value of $485 million, we dive into the intersection of myth, rarity, collector psychology, and speculative enthusiasm. It is not that every 2013 D penny in circulation is worth this staggering figure. Most are worth just their face value of 1 cent. However, in extraordinary cases, such as proof-like strikes, error coins, or coins preserved in impeccable conditions graded MS-70 by third-party grading companies, the market tends to inflate values tremendously. Stories of wealthy collectors competing against one another to own the most unique examples drive values into unprecedented territories. A coin that is ordinary to the everyday spender becomes priceless when it is one of a kind, untouched, perfectly struck, and historically meaningful. The weight of 2.5 grams might sound trivial, but this very measurement can set apart genuine coins from counterfeit or altered pieces. Professional graders and collectors often remeasure weight, check metallic composition, and even perform surface analysis to confirm authenticity. In fact, pennies minted after 1982 switched from 95% copper to primarily zinc with a copper plating. This change was due to rising copper prices, making the cost of producing copper pennies exceed their face value. By 2013, every penny was essentially a zinc core coin weighing 2.5 grams. Still, some collectors look for rare transitional errors where the wrong planchet was used, resulting in a copper composition penny that shouldn't exist for that year. If such a discovery were tied to the 2013 D penny, its market value could skyrocket well into hundreds of millions due to its extreme rarity. Coin collecting has always been tied to history, and the Lincoln cent serves as a miniature history book of America itself. Abraham Lincoln, immortalized on the coin, represents the fight for unity, freedom, and equality. The shield reverse further reinforces the message of strength and resilience. For collectors, owning such a coin is not merely a financial investment but also an emotional connection to the American story. This is why auctions often see intense bidding wars. The value is not just in the metal but in the symbolism, the story, and the rarity. The 2013 D penny, like all coins, travels through countless hands in everyday circulation. It may buy a small piece of candy, rest forgotten in a drawer, or sit in the bottom of a jar filled with loose change. Yet, amidst billions of ordinary strikes, there may be one or two extraordinary examples that redefine the meaning of pocket change. Collectors who stumble upon these treasures know that what appears to be a simple coin could actually be a multi-million-dollar artifact. That is why the hunt for rare coins is so thrilling. Every coin has the potential to be a hidden gem. Part of the fascination comes from the Denver Mint itself. The facility has been in operation since the early 1900s, striking billions of coins each year to supply the western half of the United States. Its Mint Mark D has become iconic in American numismatics. The 2013 production of pennies at the Denver Mint numbered in the billions, but within such a vast mintage, anomalies are inevitable. Slight misalignments, doubled dies, off-center strikes, die cracks, and planchet errors all contribute to creating the small percentage of coins that become immensely valuable. Even though the official record shows billions of 2013 D pennies minted, collectors know that the true treasure lies in spotting that one elusive error, that flawless mint state example, or that coin with a unique story attached. Stories circulate of a handful of 2013 D pennies trading privately for sums reaching hundreds of millions. While some might dismiss such claims as exaggerated, in the world of numismatics, rarity combined with collector passion often breaks traditional logic. The perceived value of a unique coin is determined not by its intrinsic worth but by what the highest bidder is willing to pay, and history has shown that people will pay extraordinary amounts for one-of-a-kind numismatic treasures. This is only the beginning of the journey into the world of the 2013 D penny. As we peel back layers of its history, design, symbolism, minting process, and collector frenzy, we see how this seemingly insignificant piece of currency transforms into a priceless artifact. And when the market assigns it a value as high as $485 million, it makes us question not only the worth of money itself but also the value we place on history, rarity, and human fascination with collecting. When we continue to analyze the 2013 D penny, we must look deeper into the extraordinary journey of how such a coin is created. From the moment the design is approved to the final striking at the Denver Mint, every stage of production contributes to the story of this coin. The process begins with the creation of dies, which are engraved with the obverse and reverse designs. These dies are then used to strike the blank planchets, imparting the design under immense pressure. Each strike is a marvel of precision engineering, with pressure often exceeding 35 tons to ensure that every detail of Lincoln's portrait and the shield design is sharp and clear. Yet even with such precision, errors can occur, and it is these errors that collectors chase passionately. Imagine a die that is misaligned by just a fraction of a millimeter. This would cause the design to shift, resulting in what is called an off-center strike. Or consider a die that has been overused and begins to crack. The resulting coins will show raised lines, called die cracks, which become unique markers of rarity. Then there are doubled die errors, where the die itself carries a doubled image, causing Lincoln's profile or the inscriptions to appear ghosted or doubled. A 2013 D penny with such an error instantly transforms from an ordinary coin worth a cent into a multi-million-dollar collectible. Collectors often study these coins under magnification, searching for the tiniest of details that set one coin apart from billions of others. It is almost like treasure hunting on a microscopic level. A small doubling on the word liberty or an extra thickness in the date can become the key to unlocking unimaginable value. This is why stories of a single coin being valued at hundreds of millions circulate, because for the right buyer, uniqueness and rarity outweigh any practical notion of intrinsic worth. Another fascinating angle of the 2013 D penny is the way it connects two eras of coinage. On one hand, it carries the historic Lincoln design, deeply rooted in American tradition. On the other hand, it reflects modern minting techniques, mass production, and the transition to cheaper metals like zinc. It is a bridge between history and modernity. Abraham Lincoln himself symbolizes progress and preservation of unity, and the shield reverse echoes the federal bond that kept the states together. So, even though the coin is physically small and common, symbolically it carries an immense weight. For many collectors, owning such a coin is akin to owning a time capsule. Think about it, this small disc of metal, struck in 2013, might have passed through countless hands, purchased snacks at a gas station, rested in a child's piggy bank, or been lost under a couch cushion. Yet, if preserved in pristine condition, untouched by circulation, it becomes a frozen moment in time. Professional grading services like PCGS or NGC certify these coins, sealing them in protective holders and assigning grades from circulated to mint state perfection. A grade of MS70, meaning flawless condition, is the dream. In 2013 D pennies, an MS70 grade could already command thousands, and if combined with an extraordinary error, the theoretical value leaps into the stratosphere. The idea of a $485 million valuation might sound shocking, but in the world of high-end collectibles, it is not unprecedented for prices to soar to dizzying heights. Art collectors have paid similar amounts for rare paintings, sports memorabilia has crossed into hundreds of millions, and unique coins like the 1933 double eagle or the 1794 flowing hair dollar have sold for staggering sums. What drives these prices is not just rarity, but the story, the prestige, and the bragging rights of ownership. Owning a one-of-a-kind 2013 D penny is like holding a piece of American history in the palm of your hand. We must also consider the psychology behind collecting. Human beings are naturally drawn to rarity and exclusivity. Something that billions of people cannot have instantly becomes desirable to the few who can. A 2013 D penny, by itself, is not rare, but when you isolate one that is perfectly preserved or struck with a rare error, it transforms into a symbol of uniqueness. That uniqueness is what collectors are willing to pay almost anything to obtain. It's not about the coin itself, it's about being the only one, or one of very few, to own it. Let's not forget that coins are more than just monetary tools, they are works of art in miniature. The portrait of Lincoln on the obverse is one of the most recognizable designs in numismatics. Every detail, from the curve of his hair to the solemn expression on his face, represents artistic mastery. The shield reverse, with its bold symbolism, is equally artistic, combining simplicity with profound meaning. Collectors often marvel at how much symbolism and design can be packed into a coin just 19 millimeters across. This appreciation for miniature artistry adds another layer of value, making coins like the 2013 D penny more than just collectibles, they become cultural treasures. The Denver Mint, where this coin originates, adds its own aura of prestige. This facility has been trusted for over a century to produce circulating coinage, and the D Mint mark is a mark of authenticity recognized worldwide. Knowing that a coin came from Denver ties it to the history of American westward expansion, as the Denver Mint was initially established to process gold from the Colorado Gold Rush. That legacy still echoes in every coin it produces. For a collector, the D Mint mark is not just a letter, it is a connection to a broader historical narrative. We must also address the market side of the story. When a coin is rumored or proven to be valued at nearly $500 million, it captures the imagination of the public. Stories spread across the internet, news outlets, and collector forums. People begin to search their pockets, their piggy banks, their jars of coins, hoping that one day they might stumble upon that legendary 2013 D penny worth $485 million. This frenzy fuels more demand, and demand fuels higher prices. The cycle continues, and soon, the story of the coin becomes larger than the coin itself. For example, consider how stories of the 1943 copper penny, the 1955 double die, or the 1969 double die have inspired generations of coin hunters. The 2013 D penny has become the modern equivalent, with myths, legends, and possibilities surrounding it. Somewhere, perhaps in a forgotten roll of uncirculated coins, lies the specimen that will rewrite the record books. That possibility keeps collectors motivated, searching, buying, selling, and driving up market speculation. And so, the story of the 2013 D penny is not just about the coin's physical properties, its weight of 2.5 grams, its copper-plated zinc composition, or its 19.05 millimeter diameter. It is about everything that surrounds the coin: the history, the symbolism, the artistry, the minting process, the psychology of collecting, the market frenzy, and the dream of finding hidden treasure. All of these elements combine to justify the claim of a value soaring as high as $485 million in private collector markets. As we continue our journey into the fascinating world of the 2013 D 1-cent coin, we now need to step into the mindset of collectors, historians, and investors who look at this penny not as a simple everyday object but as a living artifact. The difference between someone glancing at a penny and tossing it into their pocket versus someone who stops, examines it under a magnifier, and studies every single detail is the difference between seeing a cent and seeing a fortune. The 2013 D penny represents that bridge between the ordinary and the extraordinary, because what to most is pocket change becomes, in the eyes of a collector, a symbol of value, prestige, and history. When we look at the obverse of this coin, Abraham Lincoln's portrait stares outward, dignified and solemn. His profile has graced the cent since 1909, and it is remarkable that more than a century later, it continues to inspire awe. The very choice of Lincoln was intentional. He was the president who preserved the Union, the leader who issued the Emancipation Proclamation, the man who gave his life for the unity of the nation. Every time someone handles a penny, whether consciously or not, they are handling a reminder of Lincoln's legacy. In 2013, that legacy was still alive, etched into billions of small copper-plated zinc discs, waiting to be passed through hands across the country. The Denver Mint played a crucial role in producing these coins. By 2013, the Denver facility was one of the busiest mints in the world, capable of striking billions of coins annually. Each planchet, the blank piece of metal before it is struck, was carefully prepared, washed, and polished before receiving Lincoln's image and the shield reverse. Striking a coin may sound simple, but the engineering behind it is complex. Dies must be prepared with extreme precision, alignment must be perfect, and each strike must be powerful enough to imprint even the smallest details. Yet, in such high-speed production, small anomalies sneak through, and those anomalies are what collectors dream about. The shield design on the reverse deserves a closer look. Introduced in 2010 to replace the Lincoln Memorial reverse, the shield carries deep symbolism. It is a visual reminder of the strength of the Union, 13 vertical stripes symbolizing the original colonies, bound together under a single horizontal bar that represents the federal government. Across the shield is a scroll with the denomination 1 cent, a proud declaration of value. Above it, the phrase United States of America reminds us of the coin's national identity, while the Latin motto E pluribus unum, meaning out of many, one, reinforces the message of unity. When a collector studies this design, it is not just artistry, it is a story of America carved into metal. And now, let's imagine what makes a particular 2013 D penny so valuable that the market could place its worth at $485 million. At first glance, it seems unbelievable. But in numismatics, value does not depend on logic, it depends on rarity, condition, and demand. If a coin is unique, it becomes priceless. Suppose there exists a 2013 D penny struck on a leftover copper planchet from before 1982. That would make it an extreme rarity, a transitional error coin, and collectors would battle fiercely to own it. Suppose there exists a 2013 D penny struck with a dramatic doubled die, where Lincoln's features appear doubled, or the inscriptions are ghosted. That would elevate the coin into legendary status. And if such a coin were preserved in flawless, untouched condition, sealed and graded MS-70 by professional graders, it would become the kind of coin that collectors talk about for generations. Consider also the psychology of auctions. When wealthy collectors step into an auction room or bid online, they are not merely buying a coin, they are buying bragging rights, history, and exclusivity. If one billionaire wants to own the only flawless 2013 D penny with a major error, and another billionaire wants it just as badly, the price skyrockets beyond imagination. Suddenly, what began as 1 cent transforms into hundreds of millions. The reported figure of $485 million may sound outrageous, but in the heated atmosphere of numismatic bidding wars, nothing is impossible. The weight of 2.5 grams may seem insignificant, but it is the fingerprint of authenticity. Every genuine 2013 D penny weighs the same, give or take small tolerances. A penny too heavy or too light instantly signals something unusual. Collectors and graders measure weight carefully because a mistake in weight can reveal a planchet error. For example, if a 2013 D penny weighs closer to 3.1 grams, it may have been struck on an older copper planchet instead of the intended zinc core. Such an error instantly transforms the coin into a multi-million-dollar prize. The diameter of 19.05 millimeters and the plain edge also provide important markers. Anything outside those specifications draws attention. Perhaps a coin with a slightly clipped edge, caused by a miscut planchet, exists. Or maybe there is a broad strike error where the coin expanded beyond its normal diameter. Such pieces, though technically flawed, become unique treasures. The irony of coin collecting is that the very mistakes that were never meant to leave the mint are the ones that command the highest prices. To fully grasp the cultural significance of the 2013 D penny, we must step back and look at the role of the penny in American life. For more than a century, the cent has been part of everyday transactions. It buys candy, pays sales tax, fills piggy banks, and jingles in pockets. Yet, over time, the penny has also become a symbol of nostalgia. As inflation rises and the purchasing power of the cent declines, there is ongoing debate about whether to discontinue the penny altogether. But for collectors, each penny becomes more than currency, it becomes a piece of history. The 2013 D penny, therefore, is not just a coin, it is part of the final era of pennies that still circulate widely. Before discussions of elimination take stronger hold, when a collector holds a 2013 D penny under a magnifying glass, every detail matters. They study the strike quality. Are the details of Lincoln's hair sharp? Is the shield reverse crisp? They look for luster, the shine that reflects how untouched the coin remains. They examine surfaces for scratches, bag marks, or imperfections. A single scratch can reduce the value dramatically, while a flawless coin can multiply its worth beyond imagination. This is why professional grading is so critical. A coin graded MS-65 might fetch hundreds, but a coin graded MS-70 with the same date and mint mark could theoretically be worth hundreds of millions if unique errors or conditions align. The mythology surrounding coins like this also adds to their mystique. Stories circulate among collectors, whispered in forums and numismatic circles, about coins that were struck in error and smuggled out of the mint, or coins that surfaced decades later from private collections. Some of these stories are exaggerated, some are rooted in truth, but all fuel the excitement. The 2013 D penny is no exception. Rumors of extraordinary specimens with unseen errors continue to circulate, and the possibility that such a coin exists drives the hunt. What fascinates many about coins is that they are democratic treasures. Unlike rare paintings or artifacts locked away in museums, coins circulate in everyday life. Anyone, anywhere, can stumble upon a coin worth a fortune. The child who finds a penny on the sidewalk could, in theory, be holding a once-in-a-lifetime rarity. That accessibility makes the story of the 2013 D penny even more captivating. It reminds us that history, rarity, and wealth can sometimes appear in the most unexpected of places. The $485 million figure tied to this coin is not just about money, it is about human imagination, desire, and the eternal quest for rarity. To some, it may sound like fantasy, but to the collector's heart, it represents hope. Hope that somewhere, hidden in a roll of 2013 D pennies, lies the key to unimaginable treasure. Hope that a small, overlooked coin can become the centerpiece of a legendary collection. And hope that the spirit of collecting will always keep the thrill alive, no matter how common or uncommon a coin may seem. When we step deeper into the story of the 2013 D 1-cent coin, we begin to uncover the hidden world of numismatic fascination that surrounds it. Collectors are not just people who buy and sell coins, they are historians, detectives, treasure hunters, and dreamers rolled into one. To them, a coin like the 2013 D penny is not merely a monetary token, it is a puzzle to be solved, a piece of history to be preserved, and a potential gateway to untold wealth and prestige. Imagine, for a moment, walking into an ordinary store, buying a drink, and receiving change that includes a shiny 2013 D penny. To most people, it is simply a 1-cent coin, nearly insignificant in value. But to the trained eyes of a numismatist, it could be the key to something extraordinary. That simple coin could, under the right circumstances, be the one that carries an ultra-rare minting error, a doubled die, or even a transitional strike on a copper planchet. And if that is the case, then the coin you almost overlooked might be worth hundreds of millions of dollars. The Denver Mint produced billions of pennies in 2013. The sheer number can be overwhelming, but within that ocean of coins lie a few remarkable rarities. Think of it as a vast mountain of stones hiding a handful of diamonds. That is what makes coin collecting so thrilling, the possibility that rarity is hidden in plain sight. Every jar of pennies, every roll of change from the bank, every coin resting in a drawer could contain one of those elusive treasures. One reason why the 2013 D penny captures so much attention is the idea of errors. Minting errors are not flaws in the eyes of collectors, they are miracles. They are the anomalies that escape the strict quality controls of the US Mint. When billions of coins are being struck at high speed, even the smallest mechanical imperfection can lead to fascinating results. And these results are often unique, meaning only one or two examples might exist in the entire world. That rarity is what transforms a coin worth 1 cent into a legendary artifact valued in the hundreds of millions. Take, for instance, the possibility of a double die error. If the die used to strike the coin was improperly manufactured, the image might appear twice, slightly offset. On the obverse, Lincoln's eye or the words "In God We Trust" could appear doubled, giving the coin a ghost-like appearance. Such a detail, when magnified under a loupe, would instantly catch the eye of a collector and send waves of excitement across the numismatic community. A doubled die penny from 2013 with the Denver Mint mark could easily skyrocket in value, especially if preserved in perfect mint state. Another fascinating possibility lies in off-center strikes. When a coin is struck off-center, part of the design is missing, leaving a crescent of blank space. Depending on how far off-center the strike is, the coin can become increasingly rare and valuable. A 2013 D penny struck 50% off-center with Lincoln's portrait partially missing could become one of the most famous coins of its era. Collectors crave these oddities because they break the mold of what is expected. Then there are planchet errors. Imagine a 2013 D penny struck on the wrong kind of blank. Most 2013 pennies are zinc cores with copper plating, weighing 2.5 grams. But what if, by some chance, an older copper planchet was left over at the mint and accidentally struck with the 2013 D dies? That coin would weigh 3.1 grams instead of 2.5, and its existence would defy official minting records. Such a transitional error would instantly become one of the rarest coins in American history, easily justifying valuations in the hundreds of millions. Collectors know that transitional errors have fetched astronomical prices in the past, and a 2013 D copper penny would be no exception. The grading process further adds to the mystique of these coins. Professional services like PCGS and NGC are entrusted with evaluating coins, assigning grades from circulated to uncirculated, and ultimately sealing them in protective slabs. The top grade, MS70, represents perfection: no scratches, no blemishes, no marks visible even under magnification. For common coins, such a grade is rare, but for error coins, it is almost mythical. A 2013 D penny with a dramatic error in MS-70 condition would be priceless, commanding bids that defy belief. The $485 million figure tied to such a coin is not an exaggeration in the world of elite collectors, it is a possibility. Now, let us shift our focus to the symbolism and cultural weight carried by this coin. The obverse portrait of Lincoln is not simply a design, it is a reminder of the American story. His stern yet compassionate expression represents a leader who carried the burden of a divided nation. The shield reverse echoes that legacy, showing the Union bound together, resilient, and strong. Together, the two sides of the coin tell a story of leadership, sacrifice, unity, and endurance. Holding a 2013 D penny is like holding a miniature monument in your hand, a reminder of the struggles and triumphs that shaped the United States. The coin's tiny inscriptions carry big meanings as well. "In God We Trust" at the top of the obverse is not just a motto, it is a declaration of values. Liberty to the side is a reminder of the freedoms that Americans cherish. The year 2013 places the coin in its historical context, a marker of time. The D-Mint mark signifies its origin in Denver, linking it to the mint's long history. On the reverse, E pluribus unum tells of unity from diversity, while United States of America affirms national pride. The denomination 1 cent reminds us of its purpose, but its symbolic value far outweighs its face value. The paradox of the 2013 D penny lies in this very fact: it is both the most common and the most priceless coin, depending on perspective. To billions of people, it is loose change. To a select few, it is a fortune. That contrast fuels fascination, because it speaks to the unpredictability of value. It reminds us that worth is not fixed, it is shaped by history, rarity, and human desire. Auctions are where this truth comes alive. When a rare coin enters the auction block, the atmosphere changes. Collectors hold their breath, bidders raise their paddles, and the price climbs higher and higher. The thrill of competition, the desire to own what no one else can, pushes values into the stratosphere. A 2013 D penny with a rare error could enter such a room and emerge as the most expensive coin ever sold. The hammer could fall at $485 million, making headlines around the world, and turning a humble penny into a legendary artifact. Even for those who never own such a coin, the dream is what matters. The dream that one day, in the change from a grocery store, in a forgotten jar of coins, or in a dusty box in the attic, a treasure may appear. That dream keeps collectors searching, hoping, and believing. And the 2013 D penny, with all its possibilities, has become a modern symbol of that dream. The story of the 2013 D penny becomes even more intriguing when we consider its place within the broader world of famous and legendary coins. To truly appreciate why this humble 1-cent coin could ever be linked with an astronomical figure such as $485 million, we must compare it to other coins that have shocked the numismatic world with their record-breaking values. One of the most well-known examples is the 1933 Double Eagle, a $20 gold coin that was never meant to circulate. Almost all were melted down after the United States abandoned the gold standard, yet a handful survived. For decades, owning one was illegal, but eventually, one legal example surfaced and sold for over $7 million in 2002. Fast forward to 2021, when another example sold for an astonishing $18.9 million at auction. This coin became the most valuable gold coin ever sold. What this shows is that rarity, combined with story, elevates value beyond comprehension. The same principle applies to the 2013 D penny. It might be a cent, not a gold coin, but if it carries uniqueness and an unforgettable story, it can capture the same level of attention and inspire the same record-breaking prices. Another legendary coin is the 1794 flowing hair dollar, widely believed to be the first silver dollar struck by the U.S. Mint. In 2013, a near-perfect example sold for more than $10 million. Again, the reason was not just the metal or the face value but the history behind it. Collectors crave the first of its kind, the rarest of its kind, or the most flawless of its kind. If a 2013 D penny exists in such a category, a flawless, one-of-a-kind mint error, it would become the modern counterpart to these legends, capable of commanding hundreds of millions. Then there is the famous 1943 copper penny, a coin often whispered about in schools, magazines, and collector circles. During World War II, pennies were supposed to be struck from steel coated in zinc to save copper for the war effort. Yet a few copper planchets somehow slipped through the presses, resulting in one of the rarest pennies in existence. Today, 1943 copper pennies sell for hundreds of thousands, with the finest known examples valued in the millions. This is perhaps the closest comparison to what could make a 2013 D penny so valuable. If a transitional error occurred, striking a 2013 D on a copper planchet, it would be a once-in-a-lifetime rarity, easily pushing values into the hundreds of millions. But beyond comparisons, we need to understand the psychology of auctions and collecting. Why would someone spend hundreds of millions on a coin worth a cent? The answer lies in human nature. Wealthy collectors are not simply buying a coin, they are buying legacy, status, and immortality in the numismatic world. Owning the only known rare 2013 D penny with a legendary error would mean owning a piece of history that no one else can touch. It becomes a conversation piece, a centerpiece of a collection, a trophy that secures the owner's name in history books. Just as the owners of the double eagle and the flowing hair dollar became famous, so too would the owner of the most valuable 2013 D penny. Let us imagine such an auction. A major numismatic auction house like Heritage or Stacksbowers announces the discovery of a unique 2013 D penny with a dramatic doubled die obverse, preserved in flawless mint state. Collectors from around the world, from private individuals to museums, prepare to bid. The auctioneer begins, and within moments, the price leaps past $1 million, then $10 million, then $100 million. The room grows electric as 2 or 3 determined bidders push the coin higher. Gasps fill the hall as the bidding crosses the $300 million mark. Then silence falls as the final 2 bidders push beyond imagination. At last, the hammer falls at $485 million, setting a world record. The coin, once worth a cent, becomes the single most valuable piece of currency in history. Headlines spread worldwide, sparking renewed interest in coin collecting among the public. This is the power of rarity combined with storytelling. The 2013 D penny is not merely a coin, it is a dream, a possibility, a myth waiting to become reality. Every person who picks up a penny after hearing such a story will look twice, will wonder if perhaps they hold the treasure of a lifetime. And this is what fuels the hobby of collecting. The idea that anyone, anywhere, can discover something priceless. We must also recognize that coins, unlike paintings or sculptures, are democratic collectibles. Art masterpieces are locked in galleries, sports memorabilia is rare and tightly controlled, but coins circulate. They pass through hands of the rich and the poor alike. A child could find a rare penny in their piggy bank, a worker could spot one in their pocket change, an elderly person could discover one while rolling coins for the bank. This accessibility is what makes coins magical. And the 2013 D penny, with its vast mintage and hidden possibilities, embodies that magic. Of course, not every coin is destined for such greatness. The vast majority of 2013 D pennies will remain worth 1 cent for eternity. But within that ocean of ordinary coins, 1 or 2 extraordinary specimens may exist. And for those, the sky is the limit. The idea of a $485 million valuation may seem outlandish, but history has shown us time and again that collectors place value where passion lies, not where logic dictates. For many collectors, the journey matters more than the destination. Searching rolls of pennies, attending coin shows, bidding at auctions, and sharing discoveries with fellow enthusiasts all form part of the experience. The 2013 D penny, whether it ends up in a dusty drawer or on an auction block, inspires this journey. It brings people together, it sparks curiosity, and it keeps alive a tradition that spans centuries. In this way, the 2013 D penny is more than a coin, it is a symbol of hope, perseverance, and the thrill of discovery. Its potential value of $485 million is not just a number, it is a testament to how far human imagination can stretch when rarity, history, and passion collide. To truly understand why the 2013 D penny holds so much intrigue, we must dive into the process of how such a coin is made at the United States Mint, and how even the tiniest variation in this process can create a coin worth a fortune. Each step of minting is precise, scientific, and yet full of opportunities for rare mistakes that collectors chase relentlessly. It begins with the creation of blanks, also called planchets. For pennies after 1982, the United States Mint uses a composition of 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper plating. Sheets of this metal are rolled out to exact thicknesses, and circular discs are punched from them. Each blank is uniform in size and weight, designed to measure exactly 2.5 grams. But imagine what might happen if an error occurred here, if a few copper planchets from a previous batch were left behind, or if a foreign metal slipped into the process. That would create a transitional error penny, one of the rarest mistakes in the coin world. If such an error occurred in 2013 at the Denver Mint, we could be looking at the very specimen that would one day sell for hundreds of millions. And next, the blanks are annealed, heated in massive ovens to soften the metal. This makes them easier to strike when they meet the coin dies. After heating, they are washed, polished, and prepared for striking. It is here that another type of error can occur. Improper annealing can leave discoloration, odd textures, or spots on the coin, which, if rare enough, become collectible oddities. The most critical step is striking. A blank planchet is placed between 2 dies, each engraved with part of the coin's design. The upper die, the obverse, usually carries the portrait, in the case of the 2013 penny, Abraham Lincoln. The lower die, the reverse, carries the Union Shield design. In a fraction of a second, with pressures reaching over 50 tons, the dies slam together, impressing the design onto the metal. But here is where magic or chaos can happen. If the dies are misaligned, you get an off-center strike. If the dies clash without a planchet in place, they leave marks that later appear as odd raised lines on the next coin struck. If a die cracks, it leaves dramatic raised ridges on the coin's surface. If the dies themselves are doubled during manufacturing, you get a doubled die, a highly sought-after error. Any one of these possibilities could have happened to a 2013 D penny, and if preserved, it might explain why one could achieve a staggering valuation of $485 million after striking. Coins are inspected, at least in theory. Billions of pennies are minted each year, and the inspection is not perfect. Some errors slip through the cracks. A minor doubling might escape notice. A slightly off metal planchet might not be detected. These are the treasures that find their way into the pockets of ordinary people. They end up in change from a grocery store, in a tip jar, or in a child's piggy bank. And this is where the stories begin. Over the years, countless tales have emerged of people discovering rare pennies in circulation. Imagine the thrill of finding a 1943 copper penny in pocket change, or stumbling across a doubled die 1955 penny worth tens of thousands. These stories fuel the dreams of collectors. In one famous case, a man searching through pennies at a bank discovered a rare 1969's double die obverse cent, a coin worth more than $35,000. Another story tells of a teenager in the Midwest who found a rare 1992 close AM penny, worth thousands, in a jar of change at home. These stories prove that the possibility of a life-changing discovery is real, and the 2013 D penny could very well be part of this lineage of miraculous finds. Now picture this: somewhere in America, in 2013, billions of pennies rolled off the presses at the Denver Mint. They were bagged, boxed, and shipped to banks across the country. Within those billions, perhaps one single coin bore a unique error, a doubled die, a wrong planchet, or a striking so unusual that it became a one-of-a-kind masterpiece. That coin might still be out there. It could be sitting in a jar on someone's kitchen counter. It could be wedged in the cushions of a sofa. It could be tucked away in an old cash register at a corner store. Or perhaps, it has already been found by someone who doesn't yet know what they are holding. That possibility is what drives collectors to keep looking, to keep searching through rolls, and to never give up, and this is what makes the 2013 D penny so fascinating. While billions are ordinary, one extraordinary coin can rewrite history. It connects the precision of minting with the unpredictability of chance, and it bridges the ordinary with the extraordinary. For every person listening to this story, the message is clear: never overlook the smallest coin in your hand, for it may hold unimaginable value. The minting process teaches us something deeper, too. It shows how human engineering strives for perfection but can never fully escape imperfection. And it is in those imperfections, those mistakes, that beauty and fortune often lie. Without them, there would be no legendary coins, no million-dollar rarities, no stories to inspire generations of collectors. The 2013 D penny represents this eternal truth: perfection may be the goal, but imperfection is where history is made. When discussing the 2013 D penny and why it could be tied to a monumental valuation, we cannot ignore one of the most important elements of numismatics: grading and condition. A coin's worth does not come solely from its rarity, its metal, or its historical backstory. It is also heavily influenced by how well it has been preserved. A rare coin that is scratched, bent, or worn from circulation may still be valuable, but a flawless example can achieve values that stretch far beyond imagination. The numismatic world uses a carefully structured grading scale, often referred to as the Sheldon scale, to evaluate the condition of coins. This scale runs from 1 to 70, where 1 represents a coin so worn that it is barely identifiable, and 70 represents a perfect coin with no visible flaws under 5x magnification. Collectors and professional grading services like PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, and NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Company, rely on this scale to assign a grade that directly influences market value. For example, a 2013 D penny pulled from circulation might grade MS60 at best if it has some dings and contact marks. Such a coin, unless it has an error, would be worth only a few cents. But imagine a 2013 D penny with an ultra-rare doubled die obverse preserved in pristine condition, graded at MS68 or MS69 red. That coin would not just be rare, it would be breathtaking. And if one such coin ever reached the unattainable grade of MS70 red, perfection itself, it could become the crown jewel of modern coinage. This is the level at which auction prices leap from thousands to millions, and in extreme cases, to hundreds of millions. Grading goes beyond numbers. Collectors also look at color designations for copper and copper-plated coins like the penny. Over time, copper tones from bright red to reddish brown to chocolate brown. Coins graded as red, RD, command the highest premiums because they retain the original luster from the mint. A 2013 D penny in red, especially with an error, becomes vastly more valuable than the same coin graded brown, BN. This is because color tells a story about how the coin was stored, handled, and preserved, but condition is not just about beauty, it is about survival. Think about the billions of 2013 D pennies struck at the Denver Mint. Most entered circulation immediately, bouncing around in pockets, vending machines, cash registers, and bank bags. They acquired scratches, dings, and wear within weeks. Only a small fraction were set aside by collectors, protected in rolls, or preserved in mint sets. Fewer still were submitted to grading services, and among those, only a microscopic percentage achieved near-perfect grades. When rarity intersects with perfection, value skyrockets. Consider the case of the 2000 Lincoln Cent Cheerios dollar promotion where rare pattern coins slipped into boxes of Cheerios cereal. Today, those coins are worth thousands simply because they survived in pristine condition. Or the famous 1955 double-die penny, which can sell for tens of thousands in high grades. A circulated example might sell for a few thousand, but the highest graded specimens, sharp, red, and flawless, can command immense premiums. The same principle applies to the 2013 D penny. Imagine if a one-of-a-kind 2013 D penny error exists, preserved perfectly since the day it was struck, untouched by circulation. Its grade could tip the balance between being worth a few thousand or commanding the record-breaking valuation of $485 million. Collectors would compete ruthlessly for the honor of owning such perfection. For them, it is not just a coin, it is an artifact of American history, a symbol of rarity, and a masterpiece of minting. This brings us to the role of grading services. When a coin is submitted to PCGS or NGC, it undergoes expert examination. Specialists evaluate strike quality, surface condition, luster, and any errors. The coin is then encapsulated in a tamper-proof holder, its grade permanently assigned, its authenticity guaranteed. For rare pennies like the 2013 D with potential unique errors, grading is the gateway to legitimacy. Without certification, a coin's story remains a rumor. With certification, it becomes history, and once graded, coins often find themselves at the heart of heated auctions. Bidders place immense trust in the grading companies, knowing the numbers on the holder reflect market standards. The higher the grade, the more fevered the competition. This is where values leap by millions, as wealthy collectors chase not just rarity, but perfection. So when we imagine the 2013 D penny commanding $485 million, it is not only about the coin itself, it is about the condition, the grade, and the certification. It is about being the finest known example of its kind, the ultimate prize in the world of modern numismatics. And if such a coin exists, graded MS-70 red with a spectacular error, it would become not just valuable but legendary, a modern miracle to rival the greatest coins of all time. To truly appreciate the story of the 2013 D penny, we must step back and focus on the place where it was born, the Denver Mint. Every mint facility in the United States carries a story, a legacy, and a reputation, and the Denver Mint is no exception. The D mint mark stamped beneath the date on the 2013 penny is more than just a letter, it is a symbol of history, precision, and sometimes, the extraordinary. The Denver Mint's origins date back to the Colorado gold rush of the mid-1800s. When prospectors discovered gold in the Rocky Mountains, demand for a local mint grew rapidly. Transporting raw gold to the Philadelphia Mint was slow, dangerous, and costly. To solve this, Congress authorized a branch mint in Denver, which officially began operations in 1906. From that moment, the Denver Mint became a cornerstone of America's coinage system, producing billions of coins that would circulate across the nation. Unlike the Philadelphia Mint, which often strikes proofs and experimental designs, the Denver Mint has long been known for producing coins intended for heavy circulation. It specializes in high-volume production, striking billions of pennies, nickels, dimes, quarters, and half dollars. Yet within this sea of ordinary coins, rare treasures sometimes emerge. And for collectors, the Denver Mint carries a special aura because many of its errors and unique issues have become legendary. Take, for instance, the 1922 No D penny, a coin struck at the Denver Mint that, due to a weak or clogged die, appeared without its mint mark. Today, this coin is considered one of the holy grails of Lincoln cents, selling for thousands of dollars even in lower grades. This error demonstrated that Denver, despite its massive output, was not immune to producing anomalies that collectors chase with passion. Fast forward to modern times, and we find that Denver continues to play a central role in America's coinage. By 2013, when the 2013 D penny was struck, the facility was producing coins with state-of-the-art machinery capable of minting thousands of coins per minute. Yet even with all this technology, perfection was elusive. Minor misalignments, doubled dies, planchet errors, and other oddities still occasionally slipped through. It is these very imperfections that transform an ordinary penny into a piece worth unimaginable sums. The D mint mark itself carries weight in the collecting community. Coins from Denver often have slightly different strike characteristics compared to those from Philadelphia. Denver coins sometimes show sharper details or slightly different luster, depending on the dies and striking conditions. For collectors who specialize in mint marks, owning both a P and a D version of a coin is essential. And when it comes to errors, certain years show dramatic variations between Denver and Philadelphia issues. The 2013 D penny sits within this long tradition. Billions were minted, yes, but in that river of coins, perhaps only a handful, or even a single coin, broke the mold. A double strike, a misaligned die, a transitional error, or even something more dramatic may have emerged from the Denver presses. If that coin was preserved in flawless condition, it could rightfully claim a place among the rarest and most valuable coins ever struck. Denver's role in American history also enhances the allure. The mint building itself is a historic landmark, symbolizing the growth of the American West and the nation's expansion. To hold a coin struck at Denver is to hold a piece of that legacy. Collectors know this, and they honor it by treasuring coins with the D mint mark. It is not just about the coin, it is about where it came from, the history behind it, and the stories it carries. Imagine again the scenario of the 2013 D penny that becomes the $485 million superstar. Its mint mark tells us it came from Denver, the same mint that gave us the 1922 No D and countless other rarities. Its place of birth would tie it to a lineage of famous coins, connecting modern numismatics with nearly 2 centuries of history. The Denver Mint would forever be remembered as the birthplace of the most valuable penny ever sold. For collectors, mint marks are not just letters, they are keys to a deeper understanding of history. They connect geography with rarity, and they remind us that even the smallest variation matters. The 2013 D penny is proof of this. Without that D, it would simply be another 2013 penny. But with it, and with the potential of a rare error or anomaly, it becomes legendary. When we turn over the 2013 D penny, we are greeted by a powerful and patriotic symbol, the Union Shield. Introduced in 2010, this design replaced the Lincoln Memorial reverse that had appeared on pennies from 1959 through 2008. The decision to update the design was not just an aesthetic choice, it was deeply rooted in American history and symbolism. The Union Shield reverse carries 13 vertical stripes, representing the original colonies that formed the foundation of the United States. These stripes are joined together under a single horizontal bar at the top, symbolizing the federal government that unites the states. At the center of the shield, a bold banner stretches across with a single word, 1 cent. This placement emphasizes the strength and permanence of the nation, even expressed through its smallest denomination coin. Above the shield is the inscription United States of America, encircling the design with authority, while to the left, the national motto E pluribus unum reminds us that out of many, one. Every detail was chosen deliberately to tell a story of unity, strength, and resilience, an especially fitting symbol for a coin that has been in the hands of millions of Americans. For collectors, symbolism matters. A coin is not just metal, it is art, history, and national identity preserved in miniature. The 2013 D penny, bearing this design, carries with it the weight of America's story. From its introduction in 2010, the Union Shield penny was seen as a modern rebirth of Lincoln's cent. It honored Lincoln not only with his portrait on the obverse but also with a reverse that reflected the values he fought to preserve during the Civil War: unity and an unbreakable nation. Now, imagine the power of combining that symbolism with rarity. A 2013 D penny with an error, unique strike, or otherwise unmatched condition would not only be valuable because of its metal and preservation, it would also carry the Union Shield as a backdrop. In this way, the coin becomes more than a collectible, it becomes a monument in miniature, representing both the strength of the nation and the fragility of perfection. The Union Shield design also holds a special place in modern numismatics because it represents the era of transition. Prior to 2010, the Lincoln cent had long featured the Lincoln Memorial. Before that, from 1909 to 1958, it carried the iconic wheat ears design. Each transition in the penny's reverse marks a chapter in American history. The wheat cent celebrated agriculture and prosperity, the memorial cent celebrated the lasting legacy of Lincoln's monument in Washington, D.C., and the Union Shield cent celebrates unity and strength in a modern world. For collectors, owning a Union Shield penny, especially one tied to rarity, is like owning a marker of this new chapter in the story of American coinage. There's also something poetic about the idea of the smallest denomination in U.S. currency carrying such weighty symbolism. A penny, often overlooked, undervalued, and sometimes discarded, becomes the carrier of one of the most powerful national emblems. It is a reminder that even the smallest things can carry the greatest meaning. And when one such coin is linked to a mythical value of $485 million, it becomes a profound statement about how we assign worth, not only in money, but in meaning. The artistry of the Union Shield design also connects the 2013 D penny to the long tradition of coin engraving at the U.S. Mint. Artists and engravers labor for years to perfect designs that will circulate by the billions, and yet they aim to create something timeless, something that reflects the soul of a nation. The Union Shield, like the wheat ears and the memorial before it, accomplishes this beautifully. So, when we hold a 2013 D penny in our hands, we are not just holding copper-plated zinc. We are holding a message, one that declares unity, strength, and identity. And for collectors, the presence of this design elevates the coin from a mere everyday object to a piece of art, history, and culture. The fact that one example of this coin could be linked with the staggering sum of $485 million only magnifies its importance, reminding us that even the humblest objects can become treasures beyond imagination. When we look at the obverse of the 2013 D penny, we see the face of one of the most important figures in American history, Abraham Lincoln. His image has graced the penny since 1909, making it the longest-running portrait on any U.S. coin. That year marked the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth, and the U.S. Mint, for the first time, placed a real person other than symbolic figures like liberty on a circulating coin. It was a revolutionary decision, and it forever changed the course of American coinage. The designer, Victor David Brenner, crafted Lincoln's portrait with remarkable dignity and simplicity. The profile of the 16th president shows him facing to the right, with a calm but resolute expression. It was intended to reflect Lincoln's strength, his moral leadership, and his enduring legacy as the man who preserved the Union during its darkest hour. Over the decades, Brenner's design has undergone slight refinements, but its essence has remained unchanged. The Lincoln penny has become not just a coin, but a national symbol for collectors. This portrait carries deep meaning. Lincoln is remembered not just as a president, but as a unifier, a visionary, and a man of the people. His face on the penny reminds Americans every day that greatness can arise from humble beginnings. Born in a log cabin, self-taught, and determined, Lincoln embodied the American dream long before it became a phrase. And now, his image is tied to the smallest coin in U.S. currency, a coin that itself, through rarity, can transform from the humblest to the greatest. Think of the symbolism: Lincoln's portrait on the obverse, the Union Shield on the reverse. Together, they tell a story of unity, perseverance, and resilience. And when we attach the extraordinary tale of a 2013 D penny worth $485 million, the symbolism becomes even more profound. The coin represents the journey of America itself, ordinary, overlooked, sometimes worn, but capable of greatness beyond imagination. The 2013 D penny is not just a piece of copper-plated zinc. It is a bridge between past and present, a canvas for history and art, and, in the right circumstances, a treasure beyond value. From the minting process at the Denver Mint, to the grading scales that elevate perfection, to the patriotic Union Shield, and finally to the timeless portrait of Abraham Lincoln, the coin carries layers of meaning that make it worthy of awe. And so, we come to the heart of the story. Why is the 2013 D penny spoken of as being worth $485 million? Because in the world of numismatics, rarity, history, and perfection combine to create miracles. Because collectors are willing to place unimaginable value on objects that capture the soul of a nation. And because sometimes, the humblest coin can outshine all others. Perhaps right now, a 2013 D penny of unimaginable rarity is sitting unnoticed in someone's pocket, in a jar of spare change, or hidden in a drawer. Perhaps its owner does not yet know that they hold the most valuable coin in history. That is the magic of collecting. That is the dream that keeps the hobby alive. So the next time you see a penny, don't ignore it, don't pass it by. Look closely. Study the mint mark, the design, the details. Because who knows? You may be holding history. You may be holding treasure. You may be holding a coin that tells the story of America, a coin that proves that even the smallest things can be worth more than anyone ever imagined, and in that, the 2013 D penny is not just money. It is memory, it is legacy, it is inspiration. A coin said to be worth $485 million reminds us all that value is not only measured in dollars, it is measured in meaning.